Camera. I think we're live, right? We are live. All right. I need a little bit of water break, so I told OBS to crash. so, and uh, and it worked out. But we're gonna see House Stark. You played House Stark a few times, right? Tell us about your history with House Stark, Alex.
The first time I went against him was in Chicago when we were doing our trying to qualify for the men's tournament, and I was sick to my stomach. I was nervous. Like that was the one person I seen. I was like, oh, I don't want to go against him.
Yeah.
Like nerves were terrible. I go against him, and I don't know. I was in shock. I can't. I'm glad I recorded the matches because I didn't even remember what I did. I was awestruck.
Yeah.
I
No. So,
couldn't keep my composure very well.
yeah.
It was all luck.
No, I don't think it's all luck. I think like many of these, the thing is like the skills are so close. Like someone like anyone in the top 1,000 can beat anyone, right? And
In Pittsburgh, he put me back in my place.
oh, I think I was sitting beside you
Yeah,
guys.
you were.
Yeah,
You were.
when that happened, and
It's always fun though. He's a great guy. He's also my coach on this station.
oh, okay, very nice. How is he as a coach?
Very good. He sees things that I don't see. I'm not very good at like seeing everything fit together.
Yeah,
So we can go over that and talk through it. Which is sometimes what I need because I'll get so headstrong in an idea, and he helps me
it's
like
good to have that third
see
perspective.
everything.
Yeah, for sure. I always say that House Stark is one of the most best technical executors I've seen.
And that's what I
Like
was like.
he oftentimes runs very meta lines. He calls himself the Meta King.
Yes.
Uh, and the reason why he's able to be so successful, despite running like very similar Pokemon to many of the top players or many of the lower ranked players that he's playing against, is because he can execute to a T
Yeah,
and get like that tiny advantage and win out matches.
I
It's
might
the,
keep it a little spicy, but then I just go back to the meta and
yeah,
then
no, absolutely. I sometimes like spice picks. And we'll see how many more matchups do you think we have? Oh, we have one more. Whoever that person is. Okay, I think I saw them. Let's see. Um, let's see who else has won or lost. We saw someone report. Joey Vov from Philly. I've played him previously. Lyndon, one of Cochino Mom's favorites. Not one of her favorite. Jay Engels from Florida. Really,
16 from Ohio.
yeah. We see the Asian Milkman, a local,
Yeah.
one of the local aces here. Certainly, really wants to protect home ground and is very motivated to win. We see Bella from Maryland, very top trainers. Okay, let's see who how Stark is playing in round two. We see Valor Ash. He's running. Oh, she's running. Oh, interesting. He's running Shelgon, choosing to go only one water, and the water is Suicune.
I'm assuming Legacy Ditto means.
Yeah, running
Oh,
double Ninos. Oh my gosh. Whoa,
oh, I like that.
that is
I like that a lot.
a very spicy team.
It is.
Wow, that's spicier than he normally runs. Pretty interesting things. So we're gonna see House Stark versus 93 versus Silent Raven 3891. Want to take a look at Silent Raven's lineup? Okay. Oh, running. That's a pretty spicy team
It
too.
is.
Can't see it on screen, but you want to tell them what he's running?
We have an Umbreon, Vivero, Alolan Ninetales, Shogun, Stuntank, and Alolan Marowak.
Wow. Okay. The but
The Marowak, it seems
it's gonna have a really tough time against the Sand Slash. But it's gonna hit it with a lot of neutral damage. Like it doesn't want to get hit. So let's compare. He's running double water. Yeah, but running Shelgon and Umbreon. I have no idea how the matchup goes between Sandslash versus Shelgon. I'm assuming that in some Shield matchups it goes for to Sandslash, but that Dragon Breath damage is going to do a lot to Sandslash. So and Shelgon really could be interesting, right? Like Shelgon handles the waters okay. It's kind of iffy matchup. Does have to avoid the Hyper Fang and Last Resort. But if it baits with a Twister, then it's able to beat Needle Queen in the one shield. If you go up for the flame, if it's carrying Flamethrower or Dragon Pulse, then that matchup flips and it goes for Needle Queen. So, but most people do carry Twister. It's pretty standard, right? Dragon Pulse is not a super OP move. So um, we're gonna get them connected, and they are wearing noise canceling headphones. But on top of that, they're listening to a soundtrack called Galacta something. It's basically going to provide them a lot of white noise in the background, and we see House Stark on the left. Evaluating Silent Raven's team. What's your approach when you're squaring up against your opponent? For some people, they actually say like they don't really care what their opponents are running. They have certain lines that they feel comfortable with. They're just going to be aware of like, okay, if this lead is happening, I'm going to switch to this. But they're not. But they're not really overly concerned about
That's normally how I am. I like to find a couple lines of green.
that. You're really sure. Yep.
I'll stress test them, use them no matter what.
And then you feel comfortable with.
Different people with different things.
Yeah.
Just be comfortable with that.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And man, there's quite a few spawns. Um, wanted that shiny Tauros, right? Take it home to Philly. Nope. Oh, you got a shiny Meowth. Okay, double checking that Tauros. Making sure that's going for the Nat 2. Going for the coughing. One day. Not even going to bother. A lot of really interesting charmers, and that's Perlion is probably not one of them that you wanna have. So let's see. I have a decent one too. I don't know when I'm gonna play it or how I'm gonna play it, but maybe one day. You never know. Like who would have thought? By barrel, you were gonna. I thought you were ever gonna use right, or even a Shelgon. It's certainly when you have these whitelisted cubs, it becomes very spicy. So we'll see how they decide to play out. Okay, so what are you looking to run? What do you need? Some interesting picks. Like obviously on Silent Raven's side, it's probably a Legacy Umbreon, right? Legacy Umbreon looks pretty good against which is often the case, right? Oftentimes people only carry one check to Umbreon, which is pretty unique because of like how diverse this cup is. That you're only carrying one counter to arguably the strongest Pokemon in the meta. It looks like we're mirroring the screens right now. So Umbreon, we expect that to come into play. Yeah, yeah, it would be crazy.
I like the double ground mode.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen, but I think it looks pretty good.
man, closing out in that lineup would pretty deadly, right?
Yes.
And we often think of like in this case Sand Slash as potentially as a closer, but if he's able to bait the shields, it's going to be pretty interesting. And we'll see how these two juggernauts want to play it out. The Shelgon plays very similar to Umbreon,
Yeah.
but just not as tanky. All right, that's oftentimes a huge issue. Oh, he's actually running a shiny. It is not a return. All right, but it still plays okay, right? The thing is with bulldoze and earthquake are typically the moveset that you want to run. Bulldoze is still going to do a lot of damage to any Pokemon that's weak to ground. Um, so this is a favorable matchup for Umbreon. These Dragon Breaths are going to do a lot of damage still, right? Gonna look to want to hit this Twister as soon as possible. We'll see how. Typically, what players he look. House Shark looking to QSA. This flamethrower is going to do a decent chunk of damage to Umbreon, right? And he did QSA, so it's automatically going to queue up the foul play, and gonna look to play some aggressive play and catch this Nidoqueen off guard. He switched pretty quick, but gonna be able to get to. Let's see if a shield comes up. I think House Stark read it pretty correctly and realized that they need one more poison jab, and it's going to put pressure on this skunk tank to decide whether or not to shield or not. Oh, does get to it. Maybe a little unnecessary. I think a side shot would have been enough, but doesn't want to get it all the way to the end. So gets the shield, but this skunk tank has a lot of energy. What do you come in with? You go into yeah. It's going to be generating a lot of energy. But man, it's so he's so risky. But is he going to be able to get two off? That's the question. That's the only advantage. I think he's going to be a little bit short, but we'll see. Yeah, a little bit short, but it was the right idea. And oh man, this is going to be able to farm down, knowing that Dragon Breath takes a while to charge up to Twister. And let's see what's in the back. It's going to be by barrel. It's going to be a pretty straightforward matchup. Doesn't necessarily need to do anything complicated to win out this matchup because he still has like a 1/3 health Umbreon in the back. And gonna look to hit another one. If this goes through, he's gonna be able to just water gun down. It's gonna force his shield down, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the switch out. He just needs, yeah, he had energy. And he just needs to hit this foul play. He did double up, right? He did the seven. A lot of high level players are very disciplined. Do seven snarls, look to get to two, and able to win that matchup pretty cleanly. This is like Skunk Tag. Yes, it's a check too. Does what does Silent Raven has? Does he have? Um, so the thing is, like when you only have, oh, you could come Alone Marowak, but it is pretty risky. Alone Marowak is his hard counter to it. But the thing is, like even if he baited out his Alolan Marowak, he could potentially still farm down with Umbreon later on and do a lot of damage. So let's see how these players decide to respond. We saw in in the first round, players decide to totally 180, right? In terms of Arrow's opponent, and let's see if how Stark's opponent decides to do the same. Going back and forth. It's always so stressful trying to figure out you're switching between lineups, and you're like, should I change or should I not?
That's
Uh,
why I'm always I like my lines, and so I don't have to stress about it.
yeah, yeah. Second guessing each other, right? And sometimes when you look so back and forth and you catch the wrong lead, you're like, oh man, should have stuck with my first lineup. So this matchup, despite what some people say about Alolan Marowak, this matchup does favor Alolan Marowak. Obviously, the Earthquake is going to deal super effective damage, but these Poison Jabs are not going to do very much, and these Fire Spins are going to deal neutral damage. Oh, does get to the Earthquake though. Does switch out. Oh man, that is not a good use of energy. This Bone Club's not going to do very much. Stark's probably hoping that was a Shadow Ball. Here comes Shelgon. But again, you have to worry about this Hyper Fang. It's going to do a lot of damage if unshielded. But is he willing to burn his last shield? He is. He's not willing to burn it, and well, it's still going to be able to farm down, and it's going to have a lot of energy in the back. but it's only gonna have enough energy for one charge move. It does have two shields, so let's see.
Whatever House Stark brings in, he'll be able to fire it down after it gets
Yeah, one charge move. Yeah.
straight move up.
The thing is, you come with Umbreon, you don't need to shield, but he,
Yeah, because he's
he's not gonna shield, and gonna be able to get to another Twister though, which is still gonna do a moderate chunk of damage. It's gonna put this Umbreon almost at half health. Sometimes I get caught up in this meta a lot with I'm like down to my last Pokemon and I have my both my shields and I'm not be able to use it. Um, so gonna look to go into the mirror, and this is gonna be really interesting. This Alolan Marowak has a little bit of energy in the back. Gonna hit this last resort. Does have the energy advantage right now. Gonna hit another last resort.
wants to get rid of that shield.
There's no way I can see his opponents using the shield though. These last resorts are not doing very much, but they're certainly chunking away, right? Um, was hoping to catch the last resort there. Oh, he does. Um, but shield comes up, which is ideal, right? Wastes more energy. Um, and let's see if he decides to. And he's gonna go Earth Power. Immediately gonna go Earth Power once he sees the switch, but needs to take care of this Alolan Marrow. To be honest, I might even fire the Earth at. It's gonna shield regardless. The thing is, I don't think you even shield this, and I think you decide to try to farm down and get the energy advantage against the. But man, this is going to be tough though. It does have the shield advantage, and but he's so low, he can't take too many fire spells, and he's gonna have he might have to shield this Bone Club. I think he needed to snarl beforehand. He wants to get to enough for foul play and a last resort, but man, he's like really low. And this Umbreon in the back has energy. I think it was a mistake for him not to do it right away. And gonna look to, yeah, I think this Umbreon has too much health. And then, and there goes. It was a mistake to get hit by that Bone Club. But his opponent, well aware that again, when you're caught with how holding your shield too much, you're gonna end up fielding a move that's not very optimal. Um, and we saw that Shelgon just apply pressure, right? These like little titter tatter charge moves, doing quite a bit of damage and putting House Stark in a very precarious position. Again, we saw that alone Marowak. A lot of people talking trash about it, but it came through in that matchup. And let's see how these players decide to adapt. Yeah, okay, sure, no problem. It looks like I'm pretty loud on the screen, but okay, well, we will talk louder. You want to put it a little bit closer to your face. All right. We see Silent Raven. Okay, yep, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So like this. Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So they're locked in. I didn't see what they locked in at. Uh, by Barrel versus not necessarily a great situation. By Barrel can win the one shield in this matchup. Um, let's see how they decide to play it out, though. Going to be able to shield, but is not going to be able to farm down. A second surf is going to come if he doesn't decide to do the charge move. Oh, whoa, whoa, really? Wow. I'm a little bit shocked about that. And here comes a low Ninetales and needs to hit this charge move as soon as possible. Wow, I'm kind of shocked. I am. I have. That has never happened for me. So uh, really desperately wants to get it. Not gonna be able to get it off. Gonna come in for sure. Needle Queen has switch advantage. Let's see what's in the bag. It's gonna be Shelgon. Oh, this is not good for House Stark. But again, this last resort is gonna do a lot of damage, and this Twister's not gonna do it to KO. But still has a very favorable matchup in the back. But gonna see how much shield pressure this shields. We'll see if a shield comes up. Actually, shield definitely gonna come up. I'm gonna look to feint down this. And if he gets up to a flamethrower, it's gonna be put House Stark in a very precarious position. Oh, decides to expel the energy. That is good. That is probably gonna be the costly decision because he's gonna be able to put pressure onto it and gonna be able to look. And he doesn't even necessarily need to farm down anymore. He's just gonna be able to. He's gonna be able to shield this Psy Shock or Ice Beam and then be able to feint down. Critical decision. Not an Aquatail would not have KO'd and he definitely would have been able to get to a flamethrower. And here comes a shield, and man, one critical decision like was extremely costly. Silent Raven had that matchup in the bag, and ends up costing him the matchup. And House Stark scaving out that win, right? But stay composed and calculating what was happening. But man, sometimes you win with a little bit of luck, right?
Yeah.
Your opponent making a mistake and playing as technical as you can in a losing situation was ultimately. But man, fainting down. Man, I swear I've done that matchup so many times,
Yeah.
and I have not been able to faint down.
No, me neither.
Um, so I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's so curious, right? And sometimes like by barrel you have to power up so much.
Yeah.
You might choose to power up at level 35, but man, I don't know. I don't know. What's so curious on what chat's saying. Let's take a look at the rest of the bracket. Really well played on House Stark doing what he always does, coaching his opponent and informing like honestly he would have fainted down even in Aquatail.
Yeah.
Hit that flamethrower. Hmm? On screen. Okay. Oh, we need to scroll though. Don't worry, we got it. We got it. We got it. Okay. Oh wow. So they not a lot has been reported so far. Um. Ooh, Arrow's opponent, Reggae Loop, still going 2-0, right? Showing that it's not a and Jangle's like a really tough player, right? So again, we see that in early seasons we're going to see a lot of early round upsets because these rankings are not necessarily indicative of players' strength or even understanding of the meta. We see Caleb coming out with the win in round two. Still very early on, man. That matchup went relatively quick, even though it went to 3 rounds. Looks like we have a little bit of dispute. We see Shiny Hunter Ben rebounding. Choose Master winning his second round. Kaiser Niner. And Silent Raven. Like I'm sure we've all been there, right? When we're like in pressure and we're trying to make these decisions on like should we faint down? And I've been on both sides where I've tried to faint down. I'm like, oh, I gotta faint down, and I realized if I didn't faint down, I would have won. And then the other side, where if I chose to faint down, then I would have won as well. It's a really tough decision. And the thing is, with these fast moves, Dragon Breath and Water Gun, it's so difficult to count.
Definitely. Everything's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how Stark able to and playing it out right, and then how Stark man playing that matchup as best he could, and we see some updates. We see House Stark winning. Obviously, we saw that stream. Valor Ash winning. Uh, Matt also winning. Not fools. I think it's like kind of a play on that. Um, yeah, very interesting top seeding. The top three running very different lineups, right? Um, really interesting.
It's nice to see all the diversity because it had to be this. So seeing other things and seeing it how it works, and maybe I can get some ideas for future
Yeah,
tournaments.
yeah, no, certainly. Um,
I'm definitely a visual learner, so seeing how things play out is I like to see things.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But we see aggressive switching on so far the really the one of the keys to the matchups so far, and getting the entry advantage. We'll see how they decide to play out. Let's see. This is also uh, longer type of battles. I've noticed at least the battles that whenever I record battles or post
Yeah,
videos, right, they tend to be longer because of there's some like really bulky Pokemon, or
yeah.
you get in that Suicune matchup where they're bubble beating you to death,
I've been getting really
and
close to that time limit.
yeah, or you end up in a Umbreon mirror match,
Yeah,
and it just takes absolutely forever to do that matchup. So we do see some timeouts. We might see some timeouts later on as these matchups progress and as these skill level these players really come together. And but man, to win an 8-0 tournament, to win a huge tournament requires a lot of skill, a lot of preparation, and a little bit of luck,
a
right?
lot,
Right? Hoping that your opponent makes a mistake. Uh,
especially in the early rounds. You
yeah,
never know where.
yeah, absolutely. The matchups tend to be a little bit more random.
Yeah,
You might not run into to approaches that the players play
yeah,
as well. And I find like no matter how much you prepare, or I've played out this matchup against these 3 or 6 Pokemon so many times, and they give me a completely different look. And then you kind of have to adapt on the fly.
yes. That's why I like to. I have a couple practice partners that I practice a lot with,
Yeah,
but then I also have like I like to spread them out because like everybody has their like own style, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
like to try to experience all that. And
yeah. No, no, absolutely.
so when you go to a tournament, you might have went against someone that played kind of similar.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And for me, at least, what caught me off guard, and maybe it's like the people I played, but I feel like I battled so many people. I just didn't battle anybody that played Skunk Tank so aggressively, and that ended up being like one of my Achilles heels, like
Yeah,
one of my downfalls in my ranked tournament, my weighted tournament. Is I wasn't able to adapt or understand that swish and pressure
yeah.
as much. What are your thoughts on? So we talked about anti charmers. You like Nidoqueen, but we've seen a few of them. Alolan Marowak. Um,
Yeah, I've not practiced against an Alolan Marowak at all, so if I came against it, I'd be kind of lost. Like I, have a general idea. I'd be thinking I wouldn't want to line my queen up with it.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
bug punch are going to be kind of
yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're going to do a lot of damage. And this poison jab damage are doing next to nothing
Yeah,
to Alolan Marowak's ghost typing. How about in terms of water types? We've seen a lot of different play. Like some people, we've seen Reggae Loop really favor that Suicune and playing it excellently, right? Really well. And for me, when I saw Suicune being so high up in the ranking, I remember asking Matt from PvPoke, like how much of that is like unrealistic shield baiting, right? Because so many people are not going to shield Bubble Beam,
yeah.
right?
That was my analogy whenever I was going against it. I pretty much didn't shield first one, first two,
Yeah,
and then go from there and see how things were lining up.
yeah.
Because I just assumed it's going to be a bubble beam.
Yeah, and for some people, they don't even bait up to an hydro pump.
Yeah,
They're like their actually plan of attack is
yeah,
to hit you with bubble beam,
yeah.
as their offensive weapon is to make you less offensive.
Yes.
So it's a really it's certainly a Pokemon that requires a lot of skill, a lot of
Yes.
understanding. What do you favor, Vaporeon, Bibarel, or do you like running both, or what do
I
you?
started with Vaporeon, ended up switching to the Bibero. Still,
The matchups are like they generally do the same thing,
yeah,
but there's certain matchups where they flip in terms of the matchups. Like it's a little bit easier sometimes in the two shield matchup for a Vaporeon to come out ahead because it's able to spam those Aqua
Yeah.
Tails with 5 less energy. But then there's some matchups where Surf is a much more energy efficient
Yeah.
move, or Hyper Fang is cheaper to get to than Last
And
Resort.
I also liked that with the Hyper Fang, you have that stab where
Absolutely.
you don't with the Last
Yeah,
Resort.
yeah,
And that
absolutely.
was kind of my like main deciding factor
Yeah.
was like I like that stab to go along.
Yeah, and that normal typing is a blessing and a curse in this meta,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
definitely.
Probably the biggest blessing is like being able to double resist Shadow Claw
Yeah,
from Lanoon. So it's very difficult for a Lanoon to try to farm you down.
yeah.
Like if you've ever run up by barrel and they try to farm you down, you have a little bit of health,
Yeah.
and you get that last second surf. It feels great.
Yes.
Uh, but it's also a curse because you run to a Raichu, that brick break is actually going to do some damage
Yeah,
to you, right?
yeah.
And it's going to put a little bit of pain and something that you need to consider versus like it's absolutely going to do nothing
Yeah.
to Vaporeon.
Yeah, it's there's just so many viabilities.
Yeah, yeah.
And
In terms of water types.
like after seeing with that first round today with this Seikun play, I'm like, man, I wish I had one. I've traded for like 12 or so, and they're all 15 attack.
Oh man, that's
Like just garbage. Like nothing
not
I would
great.
invest in. No.
No, no, absolutely. Yeah. Well, today's a good day too. There's a lot of players, new friendship. Such maybe have Sweetens to trade, but
No, I
so,
trashed them all.
such a one of those Pokemon. Suicune was one of those Pokemon where I thought, wow, it really got the short end of the stick. Like it is terrible for raids, terrible for gym
Terrifying.
battles.
Yeah.
You can't put it in a gym,
No.
and even when it was available in a cup in Rainbow,
Yeah.
in this case, no one used it.
No.
It was kind of a huh? Okay, we're waiting on 6 tables to finish, but it was kind of a joke in Rainbow. Like I was gonna power one up on the stream as like
Yeah.
like a troll one,
Yeah.
all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then it got the Snarl buff
Yeah.
and Bubble Beam. That update felt like it was meant for Suicune.
Definitely, definitely.
Getting out that double buff and the Bubble Beam. Initially I was like kind of disappointed when I read Bubble Beam and I read like attack debuff. I was really excited.
Yeah.
But then when I read the damage reduction, I was like,
Yeah.
like is that worth the trade off
Yeah.
and all that stuff? Especially since there's access to Hydro Pump or Ice Beam, like both pretty good moves.
Yeah.
But it's played really well, and I think we'll see some really strong play,
I agree.
especially players like Valor Ash
Yeah.
are running in. We saw Reggae Loop running against Arrow.
Yeah.
And people maybe not being as well versed against Suicune.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
constant Bubble Beam.
Yeah, just keep sending them out, or send a couple out, charge it up, swap it out, and save it for the next
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. And this running as like we see in Pokemon Go PvP. One of the differences is like compared to like main series game is like there's not a lot of support Pokemon,
Yeah.
and this is like one of the true support Pokemon in the sense that it can help out. It can reduce the attack
Yeah.
and then help out in other matches later
Definitely.
on. So
Hmm.
wow, really impressive play. And you know what I really like about these self-arena metas, like they really make me think about Pokemon in a really different way. So like I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Back in Boulder, I don't know, maybe it was can't remember if it was Boulder or is one of their it's actually in a one of like the pre like beta tournaments,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I ran Wish Cash and someone ran Quagsire, right? I'm like, when would you ever run Quagsire? It's like lesser version of Wish Cash, but it
Yeah.
had, in another meta, I think it was like Tempest.
Yeah.
That Stone Edge damage actually did really well,
Definitely.
and we see a lot of it with Nidoqueen. I actually was considering. I played around with like at least I simmed around with running Nidoqueen for Twilight, the revisited
yeah,
Twilight,
yeah.
especially that its ability to handle Skunk Tank in that matchup.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, just not good enough.
Yeah.
And then you go to this cup and it's amazing.
time to shine.
And one of the meta defining Pokemon. And
Definitely.
something that people really need to take consideration. One of the hardest counters, but also has like really great closing moves. So
Yes.
if it's stuck in that matchup, I don't know how many times where someone got like just a slight energy advantage, and
Yes.
then I realized it was a Nido Queen, and I switched to my Barrel, and it was too late.
Too late.
Too late. I was gonna
Oh.
get double Earth powered,
Yep.
and they were gonna shield my Surf, and it was way too late. Even though it was a very favorable matchup. You look at that matchup on paper.
Yes.
Uh, Nido Queen versus Barrel, but energy advantage really matters in this cup. Hitting for
Definitely.
neutral moves, like very very unique in this cup.
I I like to hold that Nido Queen to the back, and then whatever, it doesn't even matter what's out there. And if I can get it swapped in, but like if I haven't seen their last Pokemon, I
You just
assume it's the queen if they have a queen on their
yeah
team.
yeah
And I just got to get that energy advantage, especially if depending, like I try to stay even with shields.
yeah.
So if we get to that situation, I can get that
Then you're gonna
energy
win.
advantage.
It's gonna be and it's
And
just
then
a
if it's not queen, then it's a water. Well, depending what it is.
yeah, and your best chance to win
Yeah.
is to get the energy advantage.
Yes.
Um, again, that's like an example where Barrel and Vaporeon play very differently because Vaporeon's ability to get to the Aqua
The
Tail
Aqua
a
Tail.
little bit sooner ends up being a more important consideration when playing against Nidoqueen in the closed game situation.
Definitely.
Very busy I mean, what other big tournaments have you gone to, and what was your
I
feel?
went to Pittsburgh,
Yes.
and I think that's it. I was supposed to go to the big one in Chicago, but the
Open qualifier.
the open
Yeah.
qualifier like
Yeah,
overlapped.
yeah.
I wasn't
This
gonna get there
this
in
certainly
time.
this certainly feels more like the tournament that I ran in Chicago. A
Yep,
lot of
Pittsburgh
players
was so
is
organized.
super organized.
I loved it.
And
Those
shout
little
out to
table markers that you could just
yeah,
get right to your
and shout
pair.
out to Mel and the rest of the group there.
Yeah.
They did a really great job organizing.
Amazing.
This is fun too.
Yes.
You're like kind of like a scavenger hunt, and you're like searching, kind of like a.
And they're still open to the public. So not
Yes.
only are you
You're like, are you
looking
a battler?
yeah. Are you playing Pokemon?
Yeah.
Are you my opponent?
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
I am.
Okay. All right. You want to shout out?
Oh.
Tell us a little bit more about hashtag girls at PvP.
Sure.
So-
Well, get wrecked first of all.
Yeah.
Get
yeah,
wrecked. But we're just out here. We want to support our fellow ladies, our fellow women battlers. If you look at the numbers, we're maybe like 10% of the guys in general, and we just want to create an inviting place. Like if you want to learn, we want to invite you in. We're going to support you and just help build each other up and hopefully help grow and
And
balance
where's
those
the
numbers
easiest?
out.
Where's the easiest way to find that community?
You can on J Farm. He has a Discord, and if you just tag me, I'll hook you up, and we have a whole sub chat for the girls at PvP. So that or yeah, that's probably
on
the best
Twitter,
place.
on Twitter, you see the
just girls at
hashtags.
PvP. Yeah, everywhere.
Again, shout out to Cochino Mom
Cochino Mom.
for.
I wish she could have been here this weekend. I was so excited to meet her.
I know. She's I remember my first experience meeting her. A little bit of a different experience. I was sitting similar to this.
Yeah.
Some
I remember.
some lady was shouting in my ear
Yeah.
through my headphones,
Yeah.
and I remember turning down. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Was that in Chicago, right?
That was in Chicago,
I thought
but she's a very lovely lady.
Oh,
and,
great.
And certainly one of the pioneer.
Definitely,
for,
definitely.
And a really big contributor to the community. And
Yes.
I know looking to do a lot of big things for hashtag girls at
Yeah.
PvP, for PvP in general, and for her local scene and community
Yes.
down in Florida.
Yes. It's just great, and we're just all about that support.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've seen a lot of really great messages on Twitter.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of DMs.
Oh, yeah,
And,
oh, yeah.
And people really encouraging each other. So
And it's just a nice place, and we just all encourage each other and help with team building and all that stuff. And we have any it doesn't matter your skill level.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Like we're all just here to help each other.
Yeah, and for sure. I think that's like, and we see this in many of the top battlers.
Yes.
You'll see that they are not just themselves, right?
Correct.
They are accumulation of all their practice partners,
Yes.
people that support them and that work with them to help them get them better. You'll hardly see anybody that say like, all I do is run sims and
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
high rank battler.
no.
No, no. Certainly it's really unique to see this like global and really friendly community. You see like people they were battling each other in really intense matches, and they're just going around shaking hands,
Yeah,
grabbing a
definitely.
beer or
It's
some other drink, chatting
just
with
the
them.
Pokemon Go community as a whole is so supportive.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's something I had never experienced before, and like it feels like home,
Yeah, no,
and
no,
I love it.
absolutely, absolutely. We get really excited. I know I drove down with Toshi,
Yeah,
um, and Andrew, and when we were going down, I was like, we are just talking about like, oh, we're excited to see this person, we're excited to
yeah.
meet this person,
It's like a
and yeah, and being able to communicate and meet with people is a really, really special
yeah,
experience.
like coming to these tournaments is like a big family reunion.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I love organizing these huge tournaments
Yes.
because it just brings people together. I think it really brings them like really memorable
Yeah, and
experiences.
like having it in different areas, like people that can't maybe
Yeah,
travel,
absolutely,
it gives them an opportunity to
absolutely,
come.
absolutely. I'm going to be going out to. Uh, oh, okay. It looks like they're counting it. They're just calling the last few pairings,
Must be.
and we should
Get
be
them reported.
almost on our way to round number 3.
One,
Um,
two.
but I will be hosting a tournament in LA
Okay.
at Montebello Ballroom. The owner there is a huge Pokemon Go fan.
Oh,
Was very
nice.
generous to donate his
Wow.
humongous space. It looks really nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a ballroom, so you might see people bust out the
Yeah.
Ludicolo dance, right?
Yeah.
So you might see some, but it's going to be held on December 15th, and I think that's a really great opportunity to host a large tournament on the West Coast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We've seen a lot of large tournaments held up,
Over here.
yeah, on the East Coast in Philadelphia and in
It'll be a
Pittsburgh, in New York, and in Toronto, and
nice time to let the West shine.
yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of really tough
Oh,
battlers there.
there is.
I remember, I remember going to, I flew out to Seattle for the Ultimate Showdown
Okay.
there. And I remember talking with the battlers there, and I said, uh, basically, no one knows you guys. Like no one, no one.
Yeah.
We go to the East Coast. People know Valorash. People
Yeah.
know House Stark.
House
People
Stark.
know Toshi. All this
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, you got to put on a really great show, and they put on a fantastic show. I've
Yeah.
seen so many things I'd never seen before. I'd never seen when undertapping was a thing.
Yeah.
I'd never seen an undertap showdown where
Yeah.
they were like just waiting
Oh,
there,
yeah.
right? And then the players adapting and playing out like that, and they put on a really great show. And I know there's a lot of really great battlers in LA,
Yeah.
and we saw a stream last month in Sinister, showing off some really great play. And there's a lot of really great communities nearby in the Bay
Yeah,
Area
Bay.
and in Las Vegas, and I know Arrow is going to be flying out. And I'm sure a few
Yeah.
other people are going to be reaching out to that. So definitely check it out.
Yes.
December 15th. It's going to be
December
right
15th.
after Community Day.
All right.
And what are your predictions for December Community Day? You think it's going to be like
Oh,
last year?
I'm praying we get this year and last year's community day
I,
moves.
it's
I
2
don't-
days. It's 2 days. I'm hoping one
One
for
day?
2018 and one day for
Oh,
2019.
I would love
Please.
that. I have
More so 2018.
Pokemon stacked. Yes.
Yeah.
Ah,
Do you have an EV ready to?
I
wall?
do. I have several. Just they're prepared. They're ready.
Have you walked them
And
already?
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I should-
Pre-walk everything. Then in the future, if someone else don't have one, because I still don't have one myself.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I always evolve tons of extra, and I know people like the shinies, but I usually don't do shiny just
Yeah.
for the fact if I go somewhere like this,
It's hard- difficult to trade
multiple
them.
people need
Yeah.
it. It's not a special
Absolutely.
trade.
What other Pokemon are you looking to do?
Venusaur, I want a better
Oh,
Venusaur.
Frenzy Blend, yeah. Mine's
Definitely.
trash. Mine's like 14, 13, 15.
And I want like another Blastburn Charizard,
Oh,
but
yeah.
don't have a very suitable replacement
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. But we're going to see the spawns, right?
Definitely, definitely.
And we're going to be able to do trades and prepare
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them. Anything else that you're...
Hmm.
how about Smackdown Tyranitar?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I've been saving, doing trades and stuff for that. I have a couple that are under, but they're garbage.
Yeah, they're such low level. I don't think you can get one from a hatch. I think it's like
No.
level 17, 18.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to catch one in the wild or do a trade with somebody.
In finding them not weather boosted, I
Oh
try
yeah,
really hard. Like
it's
I go for like the best IV possible.
yeah,
Like if I need to grind out the dust to get it somewhere, like I can grind out the
yeah,
dust.
absolutely.
So I'm always for the IVs,
But
but
yeah, certainly SmackDown T-Tar is
yeah,
one where everybody's SmackDown T-Tar
yeah,
is total garbage,
yeah.
right?
I had a ton because I do raids and stuff.
Yeah,
They're all too high.
yeah, all too
All too
high.
high. I
Yeah,
didn't even.
and it's one of those tricky Pokemon because every power up is so big
Yes.
that you can have like an amazing. You're like, oh man, got a 1, 8, 15, but it's 14, 61.
Yeah, yeah, something like
You're
that.
like, oh my gosh, like so bad. But certainly, um, the Venusaur, Charizard, SmackDown
Yeah.
T-Bar, Last Resort, Umbreon, even uh, for example, I might even be a little bit more prepared for the Last Resort on all the EV
Yeah,
evolutions, right?
definitely.
Because like, who would have guessed Vaporeon would be like one of those meta Pokemon?
No.
It was
No.
available in Rainbow,
Yeah.
and I know Taco from the Bay Area used it really effectively. But for a lot of people, they're like, "Why would I run that when I have a Zoom roll? Why would I
Definitely.
run that when I have Lantern?"
Ah,
But we
man,
see it play in this cup.
like Eevee originally was like right before PvP started, right?
It was like in August. It was a double day in August.
Double day in August. Okay, yeah.
And that's why you see so many.
Yeah.
And
it was-
one tricky thing I find that people do is if they're gonna run Hydro Pump, they power up a shiny Eevee
Yeah.
to make it people think
Yeah.
that it's last resort.
It crossed my mind. I was looking through my stuff. It was on a consideration list, but I was like, oh, I didn't want to put the 75K into another
Yeah.
one.
But so certainly the EV evolutions. I'm sure there's a few other legacies that you want to
Probably.
take a look at. Like you never know, right?
No.
Like one day they might buff Ampharos.
I've been saving
right?
everything.
Yeah.
Any community day move.
Yeah, yeah.
Just praying we can get it back.
The day that Ampharos becomes meta, I'll believe anything can
Yes,
become meta.
yes.
It's so terrible right now, but you never know. Like that's
No.
why in this game it's both good and bad. Sometimes I go crazy, like holding on to these. I'm like rank 79 of this random Pokemon, right? One day it's gonna be meta.
I have terrible storage issues for that
Yeah.
very reason. For that very reason.
Yeah. I know it makes me, and then I always feel like, for example, Nidoqueen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a really good one. That I'm like, oh man, when is it ever gonna be meta? When am I ever gonna use it? So when I was like cleaning up for Community Day,
Yeah.
I transferred it, and then it became meta for this cup, and then I literally had to like go out and grind, look
Oh,
up
no.
for Nidorans.
I think
Sure.
mine's pretty good. This one. Yeah, it was a
Well,
pretty
that's
good
very
start.
good. That's
yeah.
good. Was it 0, 12, 14?
Yeah, 0, 12, 14.
Oh wow, that's really good. Yeah, mine.
I saved crazy stuff.
I was grinding. Then I saw one on the nearby, and it was like, I'm like, okay, I'll walk over there, get out there, and then it's like in the middle of the cemetery. It's closed, right? So I go near the wall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please
Please pick up.
drift towards it. And I tagged in. That's actually the one I ended up powering up,
Okay,
and it ended up
okay.
being pretty decent. So well worth it. And thank goodness that that I caught it near the wall, so I didn't have to do anything else.
Yes.
to be able to get to it.
I was really glad I needed a good Scun tank during this Halloween
Oh,
event.
yeah.
I'm
So
grinding,
timely,
grinding.
yeah.
Like, I had one that I found was like rank 100. I'm like, okay, but if I'm going to do another one, like I want it to be good. I click on one. It was a fairly high CP. I thought it would evolve over. I let it go, didn't catch it because I seen another one at a stop coming up. And so I click on that one, and I was driving around my friend 716, and he's like, "Oh, this is like rank 7." I'm like, "Oh no!" So we go flying around the block, and here he put the numbers in wrong. It was rank 3.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, "Yes."
That's a happy mistake,
It
right?
was. It was fantastic.
Did he play it up like, oh man, got the rank wrong, or did he tell you right away?
No, like he's trying to put it in, and he's like, "It's rank 7," and I was like, "That's still like way better than
Yeah.
anything I have." I was like, "All right," so I'm like trying to fly and hit 2 red lights on the way
Yeah.
to get back around,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I was wrong. It was rank 3." I'm like,
No.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And with Skunk Tank, it's so glassy that I feel like the IVs that you need, like every
Oh,
single piece of IV,
for sure.
to
And
survive that every last water gun, so you can get off that crunch or
like when
sludge
you
bomb.
revolved it, it was right at.
Oh man, so saves you.
So like, it was right there. So, oh, I'm just glad it was there whenever we got back.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, there's so many. What's your methodology for or determination on whether or not you'll power up something else?
Um, if I don't have anything banked, I take the best that I have. But to reinvest into something, it's gonna more than likely it's gonna have to be like 10 or higher,
Okay.
just for the fact I saved so many Pokemon. I my ranks are pretty
Good.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I spent time reinvesting in Azumarill. I've done 3, and then I found one at GoFest in the wild that was like level 35, and I believe it's rank 3.
Okay.
I was like, that's good enough to reinvest
Yeah,
in.
yeah, for sure. It's always tough consideration for sure. All right,
So if I'm gonna reinvest, it better be good.
let's take a look at the matchup and see who's playing against each other. Okay, we're gonna have the pleasures of seeing. We're gonna see House Shark versus Dunebug. Dunebug
Junebug.
from the Massachusetts area.
Okay.
A very strong battler. This should be a really good match. Um, and they're certainly familiar with each other.
Oh, look at this pair number 2, Valor Ash and
Ooh,
Natty F
for
baby.
baby. Ooh.
Ooh.
Who's it? The
Ooh.
question is, who has a spicier lineup? Maddie F Baby or Valor
Um,
Ash? You want to look up
I don't know.
Maddie? But
Yeah.
let's actually look up Doombug first.
Yeah.
That's the matchup we're having on
Yeah.
screen. But both really strong battlers. I featured Doombug's run.
Ooh. Aggron.
Ooh, running the Aggron. And
Ooh.
running his only water, Suicune. So running Nidoqueen, Aggron, Lanoon, Alolan Ninetales, Umbreon, and Suicune. I'm like, I'm very impressed that these Pokemon, that these trainers have such unique
Yeah.
lineups. I thought they're all gonna go double water,
Definitely.
double anti-charmer, Umbreon, Lone
Wow.
Ninetales. We're certainly seeing Umbreon and Lone Ninetales a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Aggron. Pros and cons of Aggron as anti-charmer.
I'm not very familiar with it. I did not do my homework.
I think there's like two ways that you can play Aggron. Uh, you can play it with Dragon Tail to generate energy much faster, but then it becomes a much closer matchup with Alolan Ninetales. Still wins
Okay.
because that Dragon Tail is like double resisted. There's no stab on it.
Yeah.
But it can typically, if you do that, you carry Heavy Slam. Uh,
Okay.
but if you play it with Smackdown,
Okay.
you're hitting a lot harder with stab, especially against the low Ninetales. But you're generating energy less quickly,
Yeah.
and doesn't necessarily have the same closing power as Dragon Tail,
Hmm.
especially when you encounter waters.
Yeah.
Aggron has thunder, so
Hmm.
we'll see how these. But double anti charmers, but this time coming two hard anti charmers as opposed to most people carrying Nidoqueen and Skunk Tank.
Yeah.
But neither of them bringing Skunk Tank, which is really interesting. Um,
Hmm.
oh, do you guys want to put on your headphones so we can talk a little bit
Oh
more
yeah.
freely? All right. Okay. Again, they're wearing noise canceling headphones with active noise canceling white noise, so they cannot hear a thing.
No.
Um, so this Aggron is gonna have to be really careful of this Alolan Sandslash, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna come double super effective, right?
Yep.
Even those mud shots are gonna do a lot of damage to an Aggron. All right. Neither of them playing around, not attempting to shiny check beforehand.
Nope.
They know
It's game time.
this is a serious battle, right?
Yes.
This is something that it feels different. Every match can be challenging,
Yeah.
but it feels different. when you know you're going up against somebody very good,
Yes.
right? You're
Yes.
like, okay, gotta stay on my toes. We know that they know the fundamentals. They know how to count. They know how to shield bait. They know the switch in advantage and all this stuff. Reading lines, doubling up. So they have all the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So you gotta find little holes and gaps to be able to come out on top.
Hmm.
Ooh, do you keep the PvP IV numbers?
Oh no, I don't. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. And
I used your spreadsheet that you had made for a long time,
yeah.
but once I figured out how to use the
Go Stadium.
Ghost
Yeah, yeah,
Stadium,
yeah, yeah.
then I
For
went to
sure.
that.
When I made that spreadsheet so early on,
Yeah.
I'm like, someone is bound to make something better. Okay, so I think we're gonna see uh, Umbreon mirror match if I recall correctly.
Maybe.
I know Doombug is definitely carrying. Nope.
Oh.
Oh, caught the lead, but again, um, switch like lead advantage is not everything in this cup, and gonna go into. Uh, oh, interesting. And obviously, like,
Oh.
we'll see if this is going to be Hydro Pump
It
or,
is.
and it certainly is, and going to do a lot of damage.
Oh man, not shielded. Oh.
Again, this Hyper Fang or Surf is going to do a lot of damage. In this case, it's going to be a Surf, and they do get the House Stark does get the shield.
Yes.
But is it going to be able to get to another one, or is it going to
Yeah.
get hit by?
It got to it.
Let's see if a shield comes up. Oh shoot! Second shield comes up.
Double
You're
shield.
gonna want to look to farm up a little bit more, but I expect no shield
No.
from House Stark's side. He by barrel's got his objective, and it's a bubble beam. Um, and gonna bubble beam again. I'm surprised not willing to farm it down a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Hmm.
Um, and gonna look to get to
It's
this.
almost gonna have another one ready.
Yeah, and let's see. This little Ninetales is okay. A little bit of
A
lag.
little bit of leg.
A little bit of lag. But nope, they're fine now.
Yeah, looks
Neutral
good.
lag. And let's see if this shield consideration is going to be huge. Gonna shield. The thing is, like, you saw him farm up additional energy, so
Mhm.
there's no way he's gonna get to Bubble Beam and Hydro Pump, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's a Bubble Beam bait, it's probably still fine to shield.
Yeah.
Let's see how these decide to play in the back. I see, but man, no shields. This Psyshock's gonna come
Oh
out
yeah.
and do a lot of damage. But Umbreon's still in the back, but with a shield advantage. So I expect. Let's see if a switch out occurs. Gonna switch out, and man, you're gonna instant switch, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, these earthquakes are gonna
Earthquakes.
do a ton of damage, and still with the shield advantage, it's gonna be pretty huge. This earthquake is probably gonna do about 60%,
Yep.
and I don't know if a bulldoze is enough or it has to go for a double
No, I
earthquake.
think it has to be the double earthquake.
It's still gonna be a very close matchup.
It's gonna have.
Oh, this is a very important consideration. Foul play. House Stark's going to want to farm up a little bit more, but cannot risk a second one. I'm surprised that. Yeah, he's going to have to go earthquake. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that bulldoze wouldn't have been enough. I don't know.
I don't
Uh,
think so.
and he's going to want to. He's going to have to hit this bulldoze if he wants to win.
Oh no.
Oh, he's going to get side shocked. But he has a significant health advantage. It should still play out in House Stark's favor.
Yeah, I think so.
This is a very close
Uh,
matchup, but he's going to be able
it's
to
gonna
eke
be
this.
right
He's going to
there.
be able to eke out this one. He's going to be about one charm ahead. Oh, two charms ahead.
Two.
That was very close, though.
That was very close.
How I started playing, and I wasn't sure how much health that Alone Ninetales still had in the back.
Yeah.
If it had literally one less charm health left,
Yeah.
then it would have been pretty bad. But playing it correctly and ultimately winning that matchup maintaining that lead advantage was
Definitely.
was huge. And we saw a first look at that Alolan Sand Slash.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if it was a return one, that matchup would have been even more decisive because it would have
Definitely.
definitely been able to hit return, um, which is one of the reasons why it's such a good Pokemon to use.
Hmm.
Let's see how these two decide to play this out. Okay, okay, they're locked in. Let's see if Dunebug decides to lock in. But we saw how quickly that energy generation was.
Yeah.
Gonna lock in. So Dunebug does have the lead advantage. They're basically flipping the scenarios
Yep.
this
Yep.
time, all right?
Yep.
House Stark leading with Umbreon. Gonna be met with Alola Ninetales. He could mirror, which is certainly one of the plays. Uh, and let's see what he does. He does choose the mirror, and he's met with Suicune,
Hmm.
which is the a correct counter, considering they obviously don't know the teams in their
Yeah.
back. But let's see. Lone Ninetales is pretty tanky. Can survive a Hydro Pump. Let's see
Okay.
if it's going to be a Hydro Pump or a Bubble Beam. It ends up being a Bubble Beam. So this plays out pretty favorably. A failed Bubble Beam bait is pretty costly. Gonna put the shield.
Was that another bubble beam? Was it?
I don't. It can
I don't
survive.
know.
Uh,
I missed
oh,
it.
it's a Bubble
It is a
Beam.
bubble beam.
If he would have called that no shield, it would have been huge. But let's see if it's gonna be able to get to this Hydro Pump. But man, this does
It
shield.
does shield.
But man, this reduced charm damage is
Yeah.
gonna come into the mirror, which I'm not sure I necessarily agree with. You kind of want to keep that Alolan Ninetales for
For the
Umbreon.
Umbreon.
Oh, but he's gonna switch out, which I think no, he's not gonna switch out. He's just checking what's in his lineup in the back. But man, that's
Wow.
gonna switch out into Bibarrel. Um, man, I think losing that switch advantage, even though winning the lead advantage is going to be
Yeah.
very costly, because now the matchups flip, and then we're going to see an immediate switch out to Umbreon. We saw the double
Yep.
switch. House Stark again, knowing that this is how top battlers play, and this is a very difficult matchup for Linoon.
Yes. Yes, it
Um,
is.
this non-stab Grass Knot is not going to do a lot of damage. Shadow Claw is going to be
Yeah.
resisted. Again, he's playing very disciplined. Going to look to double foul play.
Man.
And the um, Alolan Ninetales is pretty low in the back. So,
Hmm.
and that's the advantage of running Umbreon. Umbreon can beat Bibarrel, can beat
Yeah.
Vaporeon, can beat Lanoon down a shield. That's why
Yeah.
House Stark was so comfortable with winning switch
Definitely.
advantage. And here comes another one, and the switch clock is coming up.
Yep.
And expect immediate switch out right after this into Bibarrel to meet the Vaporeon, to meet the Alolan
Yeah.
Ninetales. Yeah,
There it
and here it
is.
comes.
And get
And
that surf off.
yeah, I'm gonna be able to get the surf off and take it out. And House Stark, uh, winning this
Just
matchup pretty convincingly. And despite losing the lead,
yeah.
playing appropriately, and certainly mirroring is one of the ways. And if you play out that Suicune matchup incorrectly and lose switch advantage,
Yeah.
that was such a huge decision. Like, how many battlers would say like, no, I'd rather not double shield my one Pokemon. So many people have that rule of thumb, but House Stark understanding he has an Umbreon that can win out neutral matchups down
Yeah.
a shield, and the
Wow.
fact that they only have one hard counter to to Umbreon, which is something that we don't really see in a lot of
Yeah.
metas. We normally see like core meta Pokemon have like two counters on opposing teams.
Yeah. Oh.
What is he leading with?
Seikun.
All right.
I think it was Seikun, then Lanoon, and then the Ninetales
Okay.
for Dunebug.
House Stark leading with Alolan Ninetales. Again, you get to play this matchup correctly. Typically, you want to Bubble Beam bait first, but even going
Mm.
Hydro Pump, it can survive this Hydro Pump, but does decide to
Oh,
shield. Oh,
oh,
that's such a huge shield.
wow.
Huge, huge shield. Gonna look to want to charm down. Even this is a. Oh, man. What
He probably
precise
did.
counting.
Yeah.
Like, literally did it right before and put this Suicune in a very precarious position. Do you want to shield or do you not want to shield? Oh, man.
Oh
Coming down to single
no.
IVs there. Uh,
Oh.
Man, it could survive this too. So I'm not necessarily sure about that shield, but let's see if there's a. He's trying double counters in the back, and he hasn't brought a counter to it. So here
Oh.
comes. Ooh, very interesting. Coming with Lanoon. Let's see if a shield comes up or not. A
It
shield does
does.
come up, and I expect them just to keep like chipping away at
Yeah.
this. At this, and this is not going to KO.
No.
And these
Oh.
Shadow Claws are not doing a ton of damage from Lanoon, so gonna be able to survive. And man, gonna eat like two more charms all along the way. Three, four, oh my gosh, four more
No.
charms. And has a lot of energy, but and is not in a great position. Is gonna force. Oh,
Oh.
was so close there. He
Oh
counted
no.
that almost perfectly, and this is gonna one shot it.
Yep.
But oh no, not it
Oh,
does
a
one
little
shot.
bit.
Okay, close. Okay, I actually never seen a dig up, but man, farmed out appropriately, and is gonna be left with this Ninetales in the back, and this gonna go Hyper Fang. Interesting. I guess it's gonna do more damage
Yeah.
for sure, and it's gonna put this Alolan Ninetales at super low health, and it's probably gonna be able to KO before it gets to a Psyshock.
Yep.
Wow, House Stark playing that matchup completely textbook. Really liking switch advantage,
Yeah.
um, which is really important, especially when you're playing when you know that they have a lone Ninetales. You don't want to lose switch advantage
Yeah.
because you basically have no hope
Yes.
when you line up a lone Ninetales with Umbreon. So understanding the importance of that and double shielding Hello Ninetales, despite the fact that he had double hard counters,
Yes.
um, which is nuts. Like another quick victory for House Stark.
Yeah.
Let's see how the rest of the brackets playing out. Looks like no one's reported it yet. I really want to see that Valarash Madiev
I
baby,
do too. Oh, we got some down here.
Purple Kyogre
Purple Kyogre.
getting third round. Very nice. Wow, we saw some like really advanced play on a low Ninetales and staying disciplined and uh, and overcoming like a kind of an awkward matchup with Suicune.
Like calling those hydro pumps, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
man.
It's so textbook that
Yeah.
someone falls for a bait and they're not willing to put up that second shield.
Yeah.
But House Stark willing to put up that second shield. Um, wow. Okay.
Let's see.
We see Lapras Logan also winning their
Okay.
third match and actually winning all 9 games.